You know that feeling. You're somewhere totally new, maybe trying to track down that cool coffee shop you heard about.
Oh, yeah. Or someone comes up to you looking a bit lost, holding their phone out.
Exactly. That hesitant look.
Yeah.
And you have that moment of, like, figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
But whether you're the one asking or the one helping, getting it right, finding the place.
Yeah.
It feels good, Rand. There's this, I don't know, quiet satisfaction.
Definitely. It's pretty fundamental, that whole guiding and being guided thing.
And that's actually what we're digging into today. We're doing a deep dive into asking for and giving directions, specifically in English.
Yeah.
You sent over a whole bunch of great source materials. We've got video clips, real people asking questions, but also language guides, articles, stuff that breaks down the vocab and grammar.
Yeah, it's a really good mix. You get the sort of spontaneous real-world usage from the videos and then the structured explanations, too. It gives you both sides.
It really does. It shows the language in action and then tells you why it works.
Exactly. You see the patterns.
So our mission here is to sift through all this, pull out the really important bits, the key phrases, the essential words, the sort of strategies you need. The idea is to equip you with the tools so you feel, confident asking, understanding the reply, or even helping someone else out.
Think of it like building your own linguistic compass for getting around.
I like that. A linguistic compass.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're lost, you need help. Where do you even start? What did the sources say about just beginning that conversation?
Well, what really jumps out from quite a few of the sources is how much they stress starting politely. It's not just like a nice suggestion.
Wow.
It's framed as pretty fundamental if you want someone to actually help you. Yeah. Things like, excuse me, or pardon me, maybe, could you help me, please?
Okay.
Those are consistently pointed out as the way in. One source even specifically said, don't just say hello.
Right.
Using, excuse me, kind of acknowledges you might be interrupting them, softens the whole thing right away.
That makes total sense. Yeah, you are stopping someone. So, excuse me, feels respectful. Sets the stage like, excuse me, I'm trying to find the nearest subway station. Something like that.
Exactly that. Then, once you have their attention politely, the sources give you a few ways to ask the actual question. How do I get to, or where is the...
Or maybe, is there a vat near here?
Yes. And the video example showed people using really natural versions, like asking, is there a pharmacy around here? Or would you mind telling me where the post office is? Things like that.
Those little additions, around here, near here, they feel quite natural, don't they? Gives a bit of context.
They do.
Okay, so you've asked politely, clearly. Now, maybe the trickier part. Understanding the directions they give you back. This feels like where we need to unpack the language.
Right.
What are the absolute core verbs, the structures we see again and again in these sources for giving directions?
Yeah, the sources are really clear on this. Good directions rely on a kind of core set of action verbs. You see go, turn, follow, pass, cross, sometimes head.
Okay. Go, turn, follow, pass, cross.
Yeah, they describe the movement. So go straight ahead, or turn left at the corner, follow the street, you'll pass a big library, cross the bridge, head towards the park, that kind of thing.
I notice in the sources, often these verbs are just stated, like in the imperative form. Go straight, turn right, take the third exit. Sounds quite direct.
That's actually a really interesting point, especially when you compare the language guides to the real-world examples. The imperative form, it can sound a bit blunt sometimes in English.
Right.
But for giving directions, it's actually the standard. It's the clearest, most efficient way. Saying, take the number 10 bus or continue straight on for 2 blocks. It's completely normal and unambiguous in this specific situation.
Ah, I see. So it's functional language, not meant to be rude.
Exactly. It's the language of instruction here.
Got it. Okay, so we have the action verbs. But you also need to know where things are. Right. In relation to other things.
Absolutely. And that's where the positional language comes in. Super important. The sources highlight all the key prepositions and phrases next to, opposite, across from, in front of, behind, between.
Okay.
And, of course, just on the left and on the right.
So you might hear something like, the bakery is on your left, next to the bank.
Right.
Or you'll see the post office. It's opposite the park entrance. It's not just words. It feels like it's building a mental map.
It is. And tied right into that very closely is using landmarks. This came up constantly in the sources.
Oh.
Using recognizable places as reference points. Saying the pharmacy next to the bakery, or the bank opposite that big museum, or you'll pass a fountain, or look for the big red building. It's crucial.
Right.
Because these landmarks, they aren't just like extra details. They're confirmation points for the person listening. They help you know you're still on the right track.
Like little breadcrumbs.
Exactly. Or even warnings. Like one source mentioned, knowing if you see the train station you've gone too far, that's just as useful as knowing where to turn.
That's a really good point. Okay, so landmarks are key. What about distance? How do the sources suggest asking or talking about how far something is?
Yeah, you find the common questions like, is it far? Or is it close by? Asking how far is it is pretty direct.
Yeah.
Or if time matters more, how long does it take to get there? That's standard. And interestingly, a couple of sources pointed out location-specific stuff like asking, how many blocks away is it if you're in a city with a grid system?
Ah, yeah, the city grid. Makes sense. And one source definitely mentioned how north, south, east, west become really important then.
Exactly. In those places, you'll hear directions like head 2 blocks north on Elm Street or turn east when you get to Main Avenue. Those cardinal directions kind of combine with the grid.
Very specific navigation. Okay, so we've covered asking, understanding the core, language, movement, position, landmarks, distance. Did the sources talk about different ways of traveling, like walking versus driving?
They did, yeah. The language does shift a bit. If you're walking, you might ask, is it walkable? Or someone might tell you, oh, it's just about a 5-minute walk.
Okay.
For driving, you get terms like take exit 23 or stay in the left lane, maybe turn right at the second traffic light. More specific driving instructions.
And what about public transport? Buses, trains? That seems like it would have its own set of words.
It definitely does. The sources showed lots of examples related to routes, like take the number 14 bus, or lines, get on the blue line.
Right.
And stops, you need to get off at the 42nd Street stop, or transfers, change to the red line at Grand Central, even counting stops sometimes. Go 3 stops down the line.
Lots of specifics there.
Yeah. And airports, too, that was another context. Language about terminals, gates, baggage claim, customs, and just following signs. Follow the signs for baggage claim. Take the escalator up to departures, that kind of thing.
It's really helpful that the sources broke it down for the specific situations. Okay, but what if? What if you get the directions with all this great language and you still don't quite get it?
Crucially, yeah, the sources really emphasized it's okay to ask for clarification. It's necessary, even.
Good.
Using phrases like, could you say that again? Or, sorry, did you say left or right? Or even, okay, just to make sure I understand. These are really important tools.
Right, don't just nod and pretend you understood.
Exactly. It shows you're trying, and it gives the other person a chance to maybe say it differently or simplify it.
Okay. And then, once you do understand, or you've done your best, the final step. Politeness again.
Absolutely. It bookends the whole thing, ending with a genuine thank you so much, or I really appreciate your help, or that's a great help, thanks. It just reinforces the positive interaction.
Nice.
So yeah, if we were to sort of recap the practical takeaways, the essentials from these sources, it's always start politely, excuse me. Ask clearly, where is? How do I get to? Listen for those core action verbs. Go turn, pass, cross, often in that direct imperative form.
Right.
Pay attention to the position words next to, opposite, on the left, they're your anchors in space. Use the landmarks they give you as checkpoints. Remember there's specific language for walking, driving, public transport, and definitely don't be afraid to ask for clarification. All those pieces together from the materials you shared, they really do give you that solid linguistic compass.
They really do, yeah. It feels like we've pulled out the core tools you actually need. Not just word lists, but how they work in this specific situation. Practical stuff for getting around or helping someone else get around. Maybe think about how you could use these phrases next time you're somewhere new or, someone asks you for help.
Yeah. And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. In this age of GPS, we all have maps on our phones, but asking another person for directions, it's still kind of unique. It's more than just finding a dot on a screen. Like we saw in one of those videos, sometimes asking can lead you somewhere unexpected, maybe somewhere cool you weren't even looking for initially. It's just a brief interaction, usually, but it's a human connection. A little moment of shared experience that adds something different, something beyond just the technology. It's not only about the destination, sometimes it's about that little interaction you have along the way.